right, let's bring it into focus. See, it says Yiddish. All right, a German Jewish, a kind of mixed German and Hebrew language spoken by Jews and written and printed with Hebrew characters. So he's speaking a German mixed language. Is also Slavic in there as well. All right, written with Hebrew characters. And the truth be said, it's not even written with Hebrew characters. Characters is written with the Assyrian script. All right, because the true Hebrew characters is the what the Israelis call the Paleo Hebrew. All right, or the biblical Hebrew. We refer to it as the Paleo Hebrew. You also have Phoenician, the Phoenician forms, because the people that were in the east above, in the Phoenicians that were in North Africa and the places above it were speaking in that language in the land of Canaan. And Ham, the Hamites, the so-called Africans, were dwelling in the land of, matter of fact, let's pull up a map of the area. All right, this is a map of Asia. All right, notice it says absolutely nothing about Middle East. It just says it's Asia. And I'm going to read that in the Bible. It says in the east. All right, so what you're looking at, well, let's back out. Hold on, let me back out again. All right, all this area here is Africa. Over here, you can see where the little cursor is, the marker. That's Africa, and right on the corner of where Africa connects to Asia is Israel. All right, which sits in Asia, and Turkey, and Syria. All right, so this place above in Egypt, all this area here in Syria, in the land of Canaan. I'm sorry, right here, not in Syria, but in the land of Israel. All right, in the land of Canaan, this whole area right here, the Africans, the Hamites, were all over. Canaan was living here. That was part of his curse. He lost his lands. All right, it wasn't the curse of Ham. It was the curse. Ham cursed Canaan. All right, that was another false and controlled narrative. And where was Canaan dwelling? Canaan was dwelling in Asia, in all this colored area here. This is all Asia, from Turkey to Jerusalem, to Yemen, all the way to the Bering Strait. This is India, Pakistan, China, Russia. That's Asia. That's the East, that we're dwelling in the East. All right? All right, and the Shemitic people were dwelling in this portion of Asia, where the cursor is now. Syria, Iraq, Jordan, that whole thing. Saudi Arabia, they were dwelling over here. Yemen is actually in Asia. All right. So let's go to Zephaniah real quick. Three and 9. And it reads, "For I will turn to the people of pure language, that they may call upon my name, to call upon the name of Yahweh, to serve him with one consent." When does that happen? In the end of days. After the scattering. It said after the blessing and the curse. All right? After the curses. Now the blessings are going to come. And before those blessings come, all right, when the curses are ending, the name has to be brought back. All right? Okay, so it's all about, and then they and like the elder said in this video, let's play a little bit of it. They were talking about the Aramaic, and I've often had this argument with people about the Aramaic. The language of heaven is Hebrew. All right. Matter of fact, let me grab that real quick, then I'll play some of the elder's video. Man, let me grab Acts 26. The language of heaven is Hebrew. So why would the Hebrew God of the Bible and the Hebrew people, the Israelites are the particular Hebrew people, because there were other Hebrews as well. Everybody that came out of Abraham, they were all Hebrew, and other nations came out of there. But the one nation which came through Isaac and Jacob, that was the chosen line. All right. The other nations spoke other languages. They spoke broken other forms of Hebrew. Aramaic is not the language of heaven. Hebrew is. So the reason that they push that Aramaic is it goes back to what I said in the beginning, to prevent the study of the languages so that the true people of the Lord would never know the real name. This is that whole pushing that Aramaic, and that is to control the narrative. All right? That is what that is all about. This is the book of Acts 26 and verse 14. And it reads, "And when we were all fallen to the earth, I heard a voice speaking unto him and saying in the Hebrew tongue, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. And I said, Who art thou, Lord? And he said, I am." And of course it's written in English, Jesus. But he just told you he said it in the Hebrew tongue. All right? Whom thou persecutest. And we know that it's not the form of Hebrew that this guy pushed. He didn't say Yeshua. There's no E's or U's in Hebrew. Those sounds, that's what this guy added to it. So he said Yahweh. All right? He said Yahweh Shai. Okay? Because like the elder said, the Hebrew survived, it survived the flood, it survived the fall of the Tower of Babel, and it was preserved. Then it got lost when we got separated from our heritage. All right? But now it's back in the earth. The Lord is going to have the great awakening of the scattered Israelites all around the earth. At the end day prophecies coming to pass, but he's going to leave his name out. That makes absolutely no sense.
No sense.
Who are you going to call
Interpreter of the connotation of things, how you interpret what you think in your mind, how you say it in speech that was given unto man, amongst other operations. Okay? He gave you speech. See? He gave language. Okay? And at one point, the whole earth was of one language. Okay? The Hebrew. Okay?
Not Aramaic.
Let's go back here to Zephaniah 3 and 9. For then will I turn to the people a pure language.
And what you're looking at on the screen, all those dots, and when you look, even in the Aramaic, that wasn't there. Eleazar ben Yehuda added that, calling himself, making corrections, as if he can correct God himself. That's what you're dealing with these people. And
if you notice, when these so-called scholars mock the Hebrew Israelites, for having faith, because we believe all of this through faith first and foremost, and through the Holy Spirit, we're able to explain these things. But do you notice that the Dr. Browns, the vocab Malones, they'll give us this big fuss about Hebrew, but they'll accept Yiddish. Yiddish is cool when it's clearly German mixed with their form of Hebrew, added vowel points and all of this stuff that wasn't ever attached to the original language. Why don't they get scrutinized for their language? And because when it comes to Lashawan Quadash, which just means the holy tongue, there's all of this big fuss. It has to be studied, it has to be looked into. But when it comes to what Ben Yehuda did with these vowel points and mixing German in, that's cool.
That is also to control the narrative, so they can control the sounds and even change the meaning of some words to hide truths or promote lies.
That they may call on the name of Yahweh. Now, this word language, okay, is shapah, okay? Lip, language, speech, shore, bank, brims, side, edge. Okay, language, lip as a body part. Now, we know that the Holy Scriptures are parabolic, symbolic. When you go to the understanding of speech, all right, it goes into a doctrine, a way of life. All right, let's see if we can find one here. I know we'll find one in Proverbs. Let's see here. Yep. Proverbs 10:21. The lips of the righteous feed many, but fools die for want of wisdom. Okay, and then there's also, doctrines on the left-hand side. Let's see if we can get some here.
Eleazar ben Yehuda.
All right, yep, this is how this word is used here. Proverbs 12:19. The lip
doctrines
of the truth shall be established forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment.
That's right.
Okay, so the lip can be likened unto truth, wisdom. Okay, so the Lord ultimately here in this verse, okay, not only is he turning unto us, okay, the truth, but within the truth, okay, we get a language, we get our language back. Okay, a part of our heritage and everything of who we are, receiving the Holy Spirit is the language. Okay, the Hebrew. Okay? Which when you go into our history, okay, there were scriptures that spoke of the Jews' language. Okay? You think the Messiah will come into the earth and be given a name with an off form of the original language?
Right.
You out of your mind.
He's going to be speaking
okay, you got a lot of people that say, well, the Aramaic. Well, the Aramaic was mainly a writing system.
And let's stop right there. This is Genesis 10:22. And the children of Shem and Elam and Ashur and Arphaxad and Lud and Aram. Everyone that came out of Shem, that's where the Hebrew people came from. And Arphaxad begot Salah, and Salah begot Eber. The word Eber means Hebrew from the past. Abraham came out of Eber. All right? And it says, and unto Eber were born two sons. One name was Peleg, for his days on earth were divided, and his brother was Joktan. All right? But when you get down to the nitty gritty and you keep reading, what you're going to find is that the family member, the person that mattered the most out of the line of Shem, started with the Arphaxad.
That's right.
All right? And he begot Salah, and Salah begot Eber. All right? And of course, and if you jump down to verse 31, these are the sons of Shem after their families, after their tongues, in their lands, and after their nations. All right? But the Lord is not for their nations, all those other Shemites. All right? He's only for the singular. And that being the line which Abraham came from.
Right. And when you go to Genesis, the 11th chapter, all right, after the Tower of Babel, which when you discern through the Spirit, there had to be the family line of Noah through Shem, okay, through Arphaxad and so forth, that stuck to the traditions. A lot of our people were going off, of course, but there was always a righteous line or a righteous man or a group who stuck to the traditions. Now, when you see after the languages were confounded at the Tower of Babel, okay, it automatically goes to the generations of Shem, okay, through Arphaxad, okay? And as you keep reading, Arphaxad begot Salah, which was whose father? Eber. Eber is where we get the term Hebrew, right? Now, as you keep reading in this lineage, who pops up as you go down? Abram. His father was Terah. Now, what was Abram referred to as? It makes it a point to let you know Okay, that word Eber, which was Selah's son. Okay, boom. Genesis 14 and 13. And there came one that had escaped and told Abram the Hebrew, and made it a point to let you know Abram was a Hebrew. That's a legacy as well as a language. Because what name did Abraham call on? Okay. I believe it's in the 13th chapter. Let's see here. Abram altar. Let's just look up altar. Because the altars were always associated with a name. This is what. Yep. Genesis 13 and 4. Unto the place of the altar which he had made there at the first, and there Abram called on the name of Yahweh. See, which this is the same name that goes back to the at the time of Genesis, the 4th chapter. So it's through Abram that the traditions and the customs and the righteous ways were restored. This is the same name that was called upon by Adam, passed down to Abel, Seth, and then Seth, okay, because Abel was slew, Genesis 4 and 26, and to Seth, to him there was born a son, and called his name Enos. Then began men to call on the name of Yahweh. So the calling on the name of Yahweh, okay, the sacrifice, the altar, the priesthood, everything else was returned through Abram, because his father, okay, Terah, was an idol worshiper, all right? And when you look it up, Shem was also alive at this time as well, all right? And we don't have the history, all right, of Shem ever meeting with Abram, okay? But what we do know is that Abram was referred to as a Hebrew for a purpose, because it's basically showing you that language survived. You know, all of the languages were confounded here, all right, but the Hebrew survived. Okay, that's why immediately after the Tower of Babel, it goes through the descendants of Shem through who? Arphaxad. Okay, and it follows the lineage, man. Okay, these things must be understood when you're reading the Bible. The Hebrew language was never destroyed out of the earth. It was just without fruit at one point.
And then even more so after Abraham, which is Isaac, Jacob, and then the 12 patriarchs, who are the sons of Jacob, which are the patriarchs of Israel, the sons of Israel. And their language was Hebrew, not Aramaic. All right? Let's go to Baruch. We'll close with this one. So I think I hit all the points that I wanted to. Two and 30.
Right, because the argument is, well, Yahweh Shah, the Messiah, spoke Aramaic. Well, Yahweh Shah was perfect according to the law of Moses. So everything he did, okay, the from the language to the customs, traditions, and everything else, perfected him in the law of Moses. Okay, so he would have been calling on the same name that was given unto Moses to tell the children of Israel. He would have been using the same calendar that Moses used. Okay? Which was the moon. See, all of these lies and all of this scrambling you people are doing to keep this BS alive, okay, it's all going to be swallowed up.
All right? And I'm going to read down to 34. And it reads, for I knew, Baruch 2 and 30, for I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. Our people are hard-headed. Mm-hmm. But in the land of their captivities, where we got scattered to everywhere, some of us looking like those heathens, living among the Chinese, living among the Japanese, living among the white people, living among the Hawaiians, living among everybody.
That's right.
Right? But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves. And they shall know that I am the Lord their power, for I will give them a heart and ears to hear. There's a group of Israelites called in the Philippines, call themselves the Filipino Israelites, and knowing and understanding that they're Israelite foreigners, that they're scattered, and they're calling on the name of Yahweh. Why Yahweh Shai? They're not calling Yahweh. They're not calling Yeshua. They did their own studies.
And I guess that doesn't fulfill prophecy because they don't look like Wesley Snipes.
All right. And they actually took the time to understand and learn that the true name is Yahweh Shai. And heathens aren't going to call on that name. They're going to deny it.
How do we know that? Let's validate that. Let's substantiate that, because Jake will say, hey, heathen. Well, let's get second Esdras. Okay? Because everybody who don't look like John Shaft, they're not an Israelite, right? Let's see here. Second Esdras chapter 3 and 32. Or is there any other people that knoweth thee besides Israel? Or what generation have so believed thy covenants of Jacob? The true Israelites are the only ones calling on the names of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai to establish the kingdom and remember the covenant. And yet their reward appeared not, and their labor have no fruit. I have gone here and there through the heathen, and I see that they flow in wealth, and think not upon thy commandments. The heathen ain't worried about Yahweh, about Shem Yahushua. This is why we got to walk in the spirit. These brothers and sisters from the northern kingdom who may come looking different, and they're offering up a righteous sacrifice, calling on the name of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai in these latter days, those are Israelites. That's why we got to walk in the spirit. Weigh thou therefore our wickedness now in a balance, and theirs also that dwell in the world, and so shall thy name be nowhere found but in Israel. The Amalekites ain't calling on the name of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. The Amalekites ain't talking about establishing a righteous kingdom forever, where the commandments will be the order of the planet Earth. Thy name shall be found nowhere but in Israel. Okay, show me show me the prophecy of actual heathen waking up in the latter days, calling on the names of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. Or when was it that they which dwell upon the earth have not sinned in thy sight? Or what people have so kept thy commandments? Thou shalt find that Israel by name have kept thy precepts, but not the heathen. Woo! Okay, and some of them are going off in particular doctrines and stuff like that. But guess what? They're fervent, calling on the name of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, going out on the highways and the byways. All of the camps you see, okay, that are fervent to really go out and preach, is through the names of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. We may not agree with them all, but guess what? It's the names of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai that got all of these camps out here teaching, man. The Torah only cats, they just sit back and talk about us. Everybody else, they just complaining and talking about the camps. The ones that are out on the highways and the byways doing the true work, all right, starting with the apostles and elders, all right, are those who calling on the name of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, which there's no prophecy saying heathen would do that.
Right? And it says, and they shall praise me in the lands of their captivity and think upon my name. All right? And that's what it is. Matter of fact, jumping to 34. And I will bring them again into the land which I promised an oath unto their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Not Aram.
Right.
Not Elam.
Right.
All right? Their languages don't matter. And they speak broken or different forms of Hebrew. All right? But the form of Hebrew that is acknowledged, the language of heaven, is the same language that the Israelites and their forefathers spoke here on earth. All right. So with that, I'm gonna give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham.
In that next verse, and I will make an everlasting covenant with them, and be their God, and they shall be my people. And I will no more drive them away, my people of Israel, out of the land that I've given them. That's the second covenant. Hey, Shalom.